Hello everyone. On today's video, we are going to cover the steps to create a new user, give them user privileges, and also mark them schedulable in order to get them ready to be used within the scheduling and EVV module. So first things first, I'm going to be logged into my account. I'm in a demonstration account here, and I have an admin tab. From my admin tab, I'm going to find the line for user and select new because we want to add a new user to the list here. So when I click new out to the right from user, it brings me to a new page with create new user across the top. And at this point, I will enter in some user information. So I'll enter in the first and then the last name of my staff. So Lisa Bryant here. For the user's initials, this is a 3-character limit here. I can create initials. And this search box over here is going to look within the system to see if any other user has those initials assigned already. So let's click on that. And it's telling me that LB is available. This list of initials here are just some suggestions that are generated by Therap. You can use them if you'd like. Otherwise, you can use the initials that you enter on your own. It will not let you use user initials more than once. So if you had another person that had the initials of LB, you need to add either a middle initial or a number, or simply you can use this magnifying feature and use one of the suggested initials there. Login name is the username that they will use to log into the account each time. We do recommend each provider following a format just so you have some consistency across all of your users. I typically go for first initial last name. You may go for first name dot last name, but I'm going to put L Bryant. Oops. There we go. So we have L Bryant. If you liked, you could definitely do first name dot last name, whichever combination you'd need. If you wanted to add numbers, if you have employee ID numbers, you can use those as your login names. It's really up to you and your organization. I'll leave this one as first name dot last name. Next, for the password, what you're doing in this section is you're providing a temporary password for the staff to use for them to log into the account for the first time. After they've successfully logged into the account, they'll be prompted to change their password to something specific to them and that they will remember. So for the password here, I'm just going to put in a generic password that I will share with my staff for them to log into the account there. It's just pulling up a list of other saved passwords that I've had. And then I will confirm and write that password again in the confirm password section there. I'm going to leave it set to no for ignore the password policy, and then it's asking for the time zone of the user. Lisa is in Central, works and lives and provides services in Central time zone, so I will leave that there. They are an active staff. Active means that once I create this user's account, they can log in and they're able to log in right away. Pending would create them in a pending status, which would then require you to activate that staff at a later time. So you can just leave it as active. For the title, when you click on the drop-down, you'll have a list of the available titles already in the account. If you need to add a new title, you can click on the plus sign here and you'll get a pop-up, in which case you'll have the title box outline where you can enter the new title. And if you need to add a description for some internal notes, you have a field to do that there. I'm going to close out of that and select the DSP from the list. These next sections are not required, but if you want to add in the hire date or an ID number, if your organization uses those, you definitely can. I'll just add today's date as the hire date. And in regards to self-enrollment, leave this set to no. So this is not a self-enrollment account. I will now go down to the bottom and select save. And I'm not going to have my browser remember that password. Next, we're on a personal details page. You can fill this out if you'd like. Your staff can also log into the account and fill it out on their side. These fields are not required though. So I'm actually going to scroll all the way down to the bottom on this page and go to save. From this page, the successfully updated page, I have an action section where I have some quick links where I can create another new user, or I can follow this link to go to user privilege. And I'm going to use that link to go to the user privilege next. What we're looking at now is the user privilege page for Lisa. We have the ability to set up multiple profiles. I'm just going to create the one profile for her at this time, though. I have to select a super role. So under super role, I'm going to select that link, and it's going to bring me up a pop-up of the super roles available within the account. Yours may not match these exact names. In fact, they likely don't. And so select the correct super role that's applicable for that staff. In this case, they are my independent provider role. So I'm going to select that from this list and select choose. Next, under caseload, this gray bar for caseload name, there's a link that says add caseload. This is going to pull up the list of programs that individuals are enrolled into, as well as an all individual and an all admitted individual caseload. On this section, you're choosing the appropriate programs or individuals that staff work with. So Lisa works at the Jones Road residential program here. So I'm going to highlight that line and then out to the right, select add. That has now added that program to her profile. And if she also works at this Main Street home, I'll select that as well. I'll just highlight that and select add out to the right. And now I can go up to the top right-hand corner on this blue box and click on that gray X, and it's going to close that out and bring me back to the user privilege page here. So now we can see the super role name of IP and the caseloads of the 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, as well as Jones Road residential. In regards to these agency-wide and administrative roles, staff do not need anything additional within this section to be able to be scheduled or to use the scheduling module for checking in and checking out. This would only be if you needed to give them additional roles to any outside modules outside of the scheduling or EVV module. So I'm not going to add anything here. I'm going to go down to the bottom and I will select save. So we now see a notice at the top saying the privilege of user Lisa Bryant was successfully saved. I'm going to hop back to my dashboard. And there might be times where you accidentally mix that link on the actions page that says go to user privilege. Maybe you accidentally come all the way back to your dashboard. And to get back to that section, on your admin tab, you look for the line that says user privileges. Select manage, and then you are given your list of users here. You can use these fields at the top to search. So if I start typing in Lisa's name, it's going to search through my user list and pull up any that match with the first name of Lisa. She happens to be the only one. I will select her login name over on the left-hand side, and I could edit her user privileges at any point. I could add another program if she happened to start working at another place. I could remove one if she stopped working at one location, and I can always save this. So I'm just saving again down at the bottom, and now we'll go back to our dashboard. So we have created the new user when we have assigned them their user privileges. So that has given them access to their caseload and their super role. So what types of documentation and who they can do that type of documentation for. The last thing we need to do is make her schedulable. So to do that, I'm going to stay on my admin tab, but I'm going to scroll down until I get to a section here for scheduling. Now I'm going to come directly to this staff section because I just need to set up this new hire. So going over to staff and going out to the right and selecting manage. It's going to bring me to my list of users. I can use this filter up in the top left-hand corner to start typing her name. So I'm typing in Lisa, and here we have Lisa Bryant, the DSP I just created. So I'm going to click into her name there on that row, and it's going to load the next page for staff setup specifically for Lisa Bryant. So I absolutely have to make her schedulable, and I have to select the service descriptions and codes that she is allowed to work under. So I'm going to select a couple here from this list. This is a long list. We'll do We'll do some personal care and some respite services. Okay. This section here for enable self-scheduling is purely, it's up to each provider and if they will allow staff to schedule themselves in advance. So this would be creating their schedule ahead of time. The daily and weekly work hour limit, this is pulling over from the provider configuration. So these numbers are populating from that provider configuration under the scheduling section and over to here. If these were different, say that this person is a part-time employee and so we don't want her to work any more than 30 hours per week, I could change this 40 down to 30 so that it matched what we wanted her hours to be. You can leave these blank as well. These are not required fields. There's no asterisk there. But once you've made the correct selections, you can go down to the bottom right-hand side and select Save. Okay. And now if we look at Lisa here, we can see that, yes, she is indicated as schedulable. Her daily and weekly work hour limits are outlined there. At this point, she is ready to be either scheduled in advance or use the self-check-in feature using the scheduling app. If you have any questions, please be sure to visit our EVV support pages as well as the specific state page for the state that you provide services within. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks.